Oh, that's intense. Oh wait, no, even more intense. Just enjoy my potato face. Hey, what's up guys? It's Em and I'm here today with a brand new video for you. In fact, there's an animal that's been here at home with me who you have never met before. She's been here for a couple of weeks just settling in. You're gonna be seeing a lot of this girl. She's beautiful, but I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? Something happened and suddenly I was here. I'm sorry.
And then hier.
Das het is Wiese als de welstand. Het hart is Wiese den het Westen.
Flip it round.
Oh, the heart is... the heart is wiser than the intellect.
And then here.
I have no neck or chin. I mean, I have a lot of neck, no chin. This is a thumbnail.
Oh my god, wait, hold on, you're actually filming.
And then
This happened. So that happened yesterday and it's crazy. In fact, there's someone I'd like to introduce you to. This is my fiance.
I guess you're keeping me.
I'm keeping you.
Thanks.
Do I get a puppy now?
Nope.
Yeah, so between traveling between several different continents, countries and states, my mind's a bit frazzled, as is my hair in this humidity. It is boiling today. In fact, it is so hot that my weasels are melting. Niffler's melted. He's just, he died. He gone. He's melted. Are you happy mommy and daddy are getting married? Then we can all have the last name. I mean, these guys are actually, their last name is my last name, not Danny's last name. But soon we're all gonna have the same last name, which is very exciting. Look, Niffler's already lost his winter coat. He's just got his summer coat now. He looks like half the weasel he used to be. Are you melting? Oh god, he literally is melting. My Niffler melted. Hi, my Niff. Look, that's... He's just a baguette. Look at him. He's just a baguette. So unimpressed.
Mood.
And Dobby, Dobby, my special little girl. How are you, Dobby? Dobby's been causing all kinds of mischief, haven't you? She's so beautiful, look at her. Everyone thinks that Dobby's a boy, but she's actually a girl. Hi, Dobby. Look what Daddy got Mummy. Do you want to wear it? Oh, Dobby, it suits you. I suppose I should start with Ferrets. Dobby has her gorgeous winter coat still on. It's so plush and so fluffy. Look at this. Now, this will all start coming out very soon. It's only been hot here in Jersey the last... oh, I want to say 3 days now. I wasn't even here for those 3 days, but I've heard that it was hot the last 3 days. I was in Florida, where incidentally it's even hotter. So the last 3 days has been hot, and Niffler, in the space of a couple of hours, just basically went poof, like he stripped himself of his winter coat. Yes, and I still have my winter coat on, but it stays all year round. Look at that, Dobby. So, ferret updates. The exciting thing about ferrets is that I'm going to be taking them to the vet and we're going to go and get our distemper shots. As it's coming up to beautiful weather, what a great time to actually take my ferrets outside and give them some outdoor exercise. Last year they had their distemper shots, but actually with distemper shots in ferrets, it has to be renewed every year. So, I'm coming up to that point now where I'm looking to renew their shots. Of course, I will bring you guys along in a vlog so you can see what distemper shots kind of entail at the vet. And then once they've had their distemper shots and their booster, then they can go outside here. In fact, I'm not entirely sure if it's the same in the UK. What happens in the UK is that ferrets are given 1/2 of the distemper shot. The vets leave it for a couple of minutes after giving the injection just to make sure there's no allergic reaction. Then you go home, and then I think it's about 2 weeks later you tend to come back for the booster. So that's like the course for the ferrets. Technically, I could just get my pen and set it up so that the ferrets could have supervised outdoor time, but I'm just that paranoid about distemper because we have so much wildlife around here that I just don't want to chance it. I would far rather they have their distemper shots updated before going outside. And this is the new animal that I'm actually very allergic to doing this. Lovely. So that's it with the ferrets, very plain and simple. I'm going to want to take them outdoors a lot more, so I'm going to give them their distemper shots. Well, I'm not, the vet's going to do that, but you know what I mean. So that's Dobby and Niffler. Now, Voodoo and Presto. Voodoo and Presto, if you remember a couple of months ago, they were on eggs. Both of those eggs turned out to be infertile. My plan for the eggs is to produce one baby, and that one baby is going to be our sort of relief animal. And what I mean by that is that we actually have an animal education business where we go into schools and we give presentations and talks, and we use, you know, various rescued animals and whatnot. So that's, you know, more Danny's business, but we definitely rotate our animals a lot. You know, we only work them 2 days a week and no 2 consecutive days. So the great thing is that, you know, there's a lot of events coming up, so fetes, fairs, school fairs, community events that we are going to need to be very busy for, and I don't want to push Voodoo and Presto to work too hard, so it'd be good to have a third just to be able to rotate them, especially, you know, weddings come up and we also do weddings, you know, providing birds just to sit on the hand so the bride and groom can have like pretty pictures taken with like 2 turtle doves. Yay! They don't get released, by the way. We don't release our birds because there's actually sad things that happen to a lot of released birds at weddings, but I won't ruin that for you. Sorry. Now the 2 eggs look like they could be fertile, so I'm allowing them to incubate them. However, if the 2 eggs don't work out, then I'm just simply not breeding them, because this is not some backyard breeding thing where I'm going to be selling them off to pet stores or to friends or anything like that. If these 2 eggs don't work out, that's it. The rest of the eggs will be fed to the tegu, so I'm really sorry if that upsets people. I know that someone a while back was really upset that I would be feeding the dove eggs to the tegu, but that's honestly like a very, to me, a responsible way to recycle what is not wanted that is being naturally produced. So they're going to lay regardless, and I'm going to be feeding those nice nutritious eggs to the tegu to help him really beef up this summer. So that's where those eggs are going to go. Presto, the male, is on the eggs right now, but let me bring out Voodoo so you can see Voodoo. So here's Voodoo, she's the female. You can see that she's actually been sitting on eggs because you can see that she's got this little partition over here under her breast. That's where she's literally been sitting on her eggs. It's currently Presto at the moment. She tends to sit at nighttime and Presto will... He's calling to her already. They really miss each other when they're not near each other. They can tell when the other one, that's my engagement ring, sweetheart, you can't eat that. So there are 2 eggs. I don't want to disturb Presto right now. If I can get some footage in a little while of the eggs, then I'll definitely love to show you that. You're just having a little bit of a flap. If there is a mini Voodoo Presto that comes along, I will obviously let you know. If it doesn't work out with the eggs, then they're not going to be produced. So that's just the doves. Also, there is a dove aviary under construction. Let me just put this girl back because she's getting a bit antsy. I don't want to keep her away from her nest. Not that she's on the nest, mind you, it's Presto who's on the nest right now. Also super exciting for the doves is that they're getting an aviary built. Grinchy is also having an aviary, but I'll talk about that in a moment. This is a real mess right at the back corner right now. This is the aviary where it's going to be. I went away to Florida for a couple of days, so the work has kind of just desisted for the moment. It's kind of been halted, but what we've got here is we have the basic footprint, so you can see that's going to be the backside of the aviary, and then it's roughly going to come out here, encompassing that little stump down there, and basically, yeah, it's going to be a nice large enclosure for the doves. It's just going to be the 2 turtle doves in there. Like I said, I'm not really looking to breed them. I can't wait to get this finished because I want to buy some trees and put some little trees in here as well. It's going to be a really cute little enclosure. And then moving along down here, I don't want to show too much of where we live. Obviously I'm very private about a lot of our space, but there are some notable, what do you call them, landmarks nearby, so that's why I'm not showing too much. But probably around here ish is where Grinchy's aviary is going to go. So that's really it for the outdoor enclosures at the moment. There is the Kook's aviary, but that's more Danny's animal, so I'm not going to show off the Kook's aviary right now. But yeah, so I've been using this half-inch, I think it's half-inch chicken wire, and I'm basically double layering everything. So with a lot of predators, what some people will do is actually just chicken wire down to about here and then just have the rest as a board. But we've actually tried to go the extra mile. We've done chicken wire, which is not cheap, all the way to the bottom, plus board, because we do get rodents as well, and if a rodent wants to get in, it will be easy for it to chew in through the wood. So we've actually done double chicken wire all the way to the bottom, and there's going to be chicken wire all around the floor. And it's basically, we're gonna get loads of rolls of chicken wire and roll them out like this, and it's gonna come out as well from the aviary, so that if something does try and tunnel in, it's gonna already hit a wall even from like out here. We're working at the moment to secure the bottom. There has to be mesh at the bottom. It's got to be very secure, because obviously we have foxes around here too. We've got cats, we've got all sorts of animals, we've even got bears which come through occasionally, so we have to really try and make this as secure as possible. That is one of the reasons I didn't want them outside initially. You know, I think that they're quite happy where they are, but I feel like I should be setting a better example on YouTube and giving them more space. I am still worried about keeping them outside overnight, so what I might do potentially for the first couple of months and then again in the winter is have them outdoors, but bring them into a securer area. I'm thinking maybe in the garage. Now, Grinchy bird. Grinchy bird has been loving his dust baths. He's been enjoying them so much. Grinchy, Grinchy, Grinchy. Good boy. Is that nice? Oh, that's intense. And he's getting an outdoor aviary too. His is going to be a bit bigger than the doves. He can't hang out with the doves in their aviary. The doves and the hornbill get on really well. The issue lies with their food. Their dietary needs are so different that if I were to combine the food dishes and have the food dishes where everyone can access them, Grinchy wouldn't show that much interest in the doves' food. The doves might get diarrhea by eating Grinchy's food, because Grinchy is predominantly not just insectivorous, he's also a frugivorous bird. He eats a lot of fruit. The doves, they just eat their seed. Like, that's all they really need, just their seed. Anything else can really upset their stomach. So with Grinchy eating, you know, fruits and greens and all sorts of insectivore diets and low iron pellets, I just don't want there to be any kind of mess up on my part in feeding the doves the wrong food and exposing them to food that they should not really eat. I am looking to find him a companion. So with Grinchy, I know I've had a lot of people saying, why don't you just give him to a zoo? There's a problem with that. I'm sorry, I made that sound really sarcastic. It's because I've had this conversation with all my friends who are zookeepers as well, and it's just, people have this misconception that if you adopt an animal and you don't want it anymore, give it to the zoo because it's a free animal. No. Let me tell you something about zoos. I am pro good zoos. I am pro the progressive zoos that do so much for actually educating and preserving wild habitat, because that's the thing, is you cannot not have animals in captivity if there's no wild habitat. So to the zoos who are doing great conservation work and educating and actually securing wildlife spots to release animals, bravo. I honestly mean that. That is what we need right now. But you would be astounded how many zoos still to this day, when they're at capacity, and a lot of zoos are always at capacity, just keep birds like Grinchy behind the scenes in something small. It happens, you know, sometimes you just think you're gonna give an animal more and the zoo feels obliged to take it, and either they destroy the animal or it just sits indefinitely in a cage. And if there's any zookeepers out there, you don't have to mention who you are, you know this is true too. So it's not like a dream to suddenly just give Grinchy to a zoo. It doesn't work that way. If he ever got depressed or I felt that I couldn't give him what he required or what he was happy with, of course I would find someone or some place that would be willing to give him a good standard of life. But I'm still feeling that I can give him that. I've never felt that I couldn't, and he's just blossoming and he's doing amazing. I'm so happy with him, and I think he's happy here too. And he's going to be happier when he's got his aviary. Yes, he is. So that's what's happening with Grinchy. I'm hoping to find him a... Hi, Dobby. Come here, Dobby. I always go on about Niffler's pink jelly bean nose, and people always say to me, oh, Niffler's your favorite. Actually, Dobby's the cuddly one. She wants attention all the time. As soon as she can hear people, she's like, love me. Whereas Niffler's just like, just let me sleep and melt.
Mood.
I believe he's a boy. I still have to DNA sex him, so I have to make sure he is in fact a boy before I commit to finding him a companion. If I do get a female, it won't be for breeding purposes. In fact, here on the East Coast, 2 hornbills will not breed. They do not have the climate. They will not be inclined to breed. So it would not be a case of, hey, let me get Grinchy a female and then they'll breed and then I can sell the baby. That's not what this is for. I would like to get him a companion that actually understands his body language and is a fellow hornbill. However, it's going to be difficult to specifically find his species that is not a wild caught animal. A lot of the red-billed hornbills in captivity are wild caught, even when people state otherwise, saying that they're actually captive bred. A lot of them are not. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to find him another red-billed hornbill as a companion. If I can't, then I'm thinking about a Von der Decken's hornbill. They would get on absolutely fine. Grinchy, the species that he is, the red-billed hornbill, they are very docile with other members of the hornbill family, but they can be actually very territorial, but they can be territorial with others of their species. So if he was to encounter like a Von der Decken's hornbill or a yellow-billed hornbill, would just be like, cool, we'll cohabit, that's fine. But if he were to encounter another red-billed hornbill that was not his mate, there would be an argument there. So potentially a Von der Decken's would be close enough in behavior that they would be able to preen each other, get along, be companions for each other. So that's my plans with Grinchy. Now, the moment that you've all been waiting for, the new girl. We have to go and find the new girl because she's hiding. Her name is Pudding, or Puddin. Danny insists on spelling her name Puddin apostrophe. It just doesn't sound right when I say it. Puddin. Puddin. Maybe I feel like Harley Quinn every time I say it. Puddin. I feel like Harley Quinn every time I say it. Puddin. 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 I have to change my accent for it to sound normal. Puddin. Puddin. That like, it's weird on my nose. Anyway, Pudding is our new rescued girl. She is a true rescue adoption. She's not purchased or bought. She was somebody else's, and I'll explain that to you in a little while. But at the moment, she's in her special hiding place where she stays all day long. Let me go and find her for you. Let's see how we're doing in here. Dun, 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 dun. Please excuse this horrible mess in this closet. This usually doesn't get seen for obvious reasons, but the sharper-eyed of you may see. Hello, darling. She's like, what are you doing in my closet? Get out. She's honestly the sweetest girl. She loves cuddles almost as much as she loves food. What's that on your face? Are you coming out? This is her bowl just over here. She currently has left, unsurprisingly, most of her greens. She does not like her greens. I'm going to do an updated skunk care video and their diet video as well. But she likes to eat all the things that are not as good for her and leave behind all of her veggies. Isn't that right? Pudding's favorite person in the world is Danny. So Danny's gonna come and answer some questions I have about the skunk. But first of all, we're gonna be feeding her some of this taurine paste. This is what I actually give to the ferrets. It's Bayfar. This is not sponsored, by the way. It's a multivitamin paste with added taurine, which is great, obviously, for ferrets and for other weasels, because they can't usually produce their own taurine, especially skunks. Skunks cannot produce their own taurine either. So it's very good for her, and she's gonna
She's going to devour the
She's gonna devour the whole thing, as you can see. So she's gonna have a little bit of that. But yeah, Danny, why don't you come over in here and tell us about the new love of your life. This here, I hear her name is Pudding.
Her name is Puddin. She's pretty spectacular. She is a skunk that needed a home. She was kept by somebody who couldn't really keep her long term, and so as a result, she was living in a pet shop for many months. Actually, I think it was like 8 or 9 months. And they tried to do the best they could for her there, but it was not really a good environment for her. It was a little too loud. She's definitely an animal that does not appreciate loud noises. So as a result, you can see her fur. She spent a lot of time curled up and the front half of her fur is really short from constantly wearing down on the bed and curling up because she was always trying to escape the noise. Even here at home, she likes it pretty peaceful and quiet. As you may know, skunks do not have the best eyesight in the world, so they rely mostly on smell and hearing, which is why you can surprise a skunk pretty easily.
So yeah, you're gonna have to duck down again. In that Q&A on my vlog channel, everyone was like, oh, Danny looks super uncomfortable. It's because
this is normal, alright? And then this is what I have to do.
So I'm sorry, let me like come all the way back. Oh wait, no, this is
help.
not gonna
Yeah,
work.
That doesn't help. It's
We
okay.
are not camera compatible.
Hi everybody.
So her owner actually, unfortunately, we don't know much about him, but he was made homeless, and obviously if you're homeless you can't look after a skunk. And then when he found a new living situation a year later, he couldn't have a skunk. His new living situation wouldn't allow it. So he entrusted her to us through the store. So thank you very much. She's a joy to have. She's a brat though, she really is.
It's okay, she can be. She's cute.
And don't worry, you know, I know some of you might be thinking, oh no, support her here, support her there. She's very comfortable. With a skunk, if they don't want to be on you, they're going to be clawing and trying to get away. Speaking of claws, she will need to have her nails trimmed a bit. If any of you are used to cat claws, these are not similar to cat claws at all. They're not scratchy, they're actually very blunt. They're more like spades and help them to root around and find delicious earthworms and insects in the soil, which hopefully we'll see her do in a couple of minutes. But if she really wanted to get away, if she was uncomfortable, she would be jostling around. But she's been very good. She's a real sweetheart. You've got a little bit of eye bogey going on there, sweetheart. There you go. Oh look, it's a legitimate skunk's eye bogey. Look at it. Look, we've got eye bogey on my thumb, on my nose. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in another video soon.